Good evening, everybody. I'm Greg. Here's my audience here. Thank y'all guys for being here. Um, so I'm here tonight to talk to you about fossil fuels and nuclear energy as being a good replacement for burning fossil fuels for energy, because there's a lot of stigma behind nuclear energy, but it is indeed, in fact, a good alternative to burning fossil fuels because it's very reliable. It's actually 8,000 times more efficient than burning fossil fuels for energy. Uh, Nuclear energy is a very controversial topic, but it's more efficient than anything we know of in terms of producing energy. So I'm going to use a couple things. I've retrieved information from articles titled Nuclear Power by William Parker. The movie Chasing Coral, maybe you guys have seen it, has some really good information. It's on Netflix. An article by Ty Thomas from the Stanford University. I think I have another article from the Stanford University as well in there. But overall, I want to talk to you guys about why fossil fuels are bad and why we need to replace them and why you should think that nuclear energy is a good replacement for them. So first of all, burning fossil fuels creates a ton of pollution in the atmosphere. CO2 is the number one polluter that they cause. CO2 does all kinds of bad things. It actually literally kills people, especially near places where fossil fuel power plants have more pollution and it's more concentrated and whatnot. But in a year, there's more mortality, more people get sick from fossil fuel burning and the pollution that they cause. That article is from Bergen. CO2 pollution is wiping out life in the ocean as well. One of the main things they're doing is killing coral. Coral reefs are very important. They're like the trees of the ocean. Like if our trees on land, all the forests on land died off, it'd be really bad for life here. But so that's exactly what's happening in the oceans. Like this is called coral bleaching, is what this event is, where all the coral in the reef will die off. And this is happening all over the world. In fact, 50% of the coral on this planet has already died off due to this, which is caused by CO2 pollution, because CO2 is absorbed into the ocean, which increases the acidity of the ocean and increases the temperature, which makes it hard for coral to create their shells that keep them alive. So they die off like this, causing mass extinction of the coral. Fossil fuels are also not a renewable energy source. They're running out, and they're going to have to find a replacement for them at some point here, and nuclear energy could be a very good alternative. Greenhouse gases are also increasing the temperature of the planet. Global warming and the rapid melting of the ice is all caused by CO2 emissions, mainly from from fossil fuel power plants. So now let's talk about some benefits of nuclear energy. Nuclear energy, again, is the most efficient way of producing energy that we know of today. It's 8,000 times more efficient. 1 ounce of uranium, which is used to produce nuclear energy, is equivalent to 100 metric tons of coal in terms of producing energy. Nuclear energy is capable of producing the same amount of energy that we get from burning fossil fuels. So we need something to replace the amount of energy we've gotten from burning fossil fuels, and nuclear energy has the potential to come to the terms that we need for nuclear or burning fossil fuels, because there's a lot of energy already produced by fossil fuels. So something needs to replace all that energy. Overall, nuclear energy has already reduced about half of the CO2 emissions that would have been produced had they been produced by fossil fuel burning power plants. So there would be 2 times more CO2 emissions in the atmosphere had we not been using nuclear energy already. So now that we've talked about some of the benefits of nuclear energy, I kind of want to reduce the stigma around nuclear energy, because a lot of people kind of see it as like a scary thing. You know, there's been a lot of disasters like Fukushima and Chernobyl, very famous, nuclear power plants going wrong and causing a lot of damage to the environment around them there. But today, science is creating many new opportunities for research to go towards nuclear energy, because we realize the potential it has in terms of creating energy. It's, like I said, the most efficient source of creating energy that we know of today. So research is being put into the breakdown of the radioactive waste, which is always kind of hazardous. You need to store it in a place that is safe, where it won't hurt the environment, and a lot of research is being put towards that, and that is from one of the articles of Parker. Research is also being put behind where to secure or to make sure nuclear power plants are safe so that disasters don't happen, such as what happened at Fukushima and Chernobyl. nuclear power plants are relatively safe now, especially the ones that are in effect or working now, have had like no problems, nothing crazy, and that stuff was all in the past. Overall, nuclear energy is only getting safer and cheaper to produce, more efficient. Um, and I hope I've persuaded you guys to believe that it is a really good alternative to having CO2 emissions from fossil fuel burning power plants. Here's my audience again here, and thank you guys for watching.